and that's not to fuck it up. And I'll explain a little bit about that. But first, the bigger picture. You see, we're on this journey. Today, crypto's a $3 trillion asset class, but I think it's going to 100 trillion by, let's say, 2032, 2034. So within 10 years, it goes to 100 trillion, which would be the largest, fastest accumulation of wealth in all human history. Now, my job here is to help you navigate that. I want you to all make it to the other side. I want you to make money and unfuck your future. You see, all of these things you hear me say, the banana zone, unfuck your future, don't fuck this up, they're all part of the big thing, is how to navigate this megatrend. Many of you are newer to crypto. I've been in the space since 2013 and have learned many, many lessons. And so I want to talk a bit about lessons today, how I fucked it up, maybe some misapprehension, some wrong stories about me, but I'm very honest in where I've screwed things up. And I think it's important to know. But first, let's look at the principles you all need to understand about don't fuck this up. I sent this tweet out in January, like, oh yeah, this looks really cool. Now, I'm shit at early stage stuff, but here's me thinking, yeah, I'm going to follow this guy. He's really smart. Obviously, I lose 70% of my money in that trade. I then did it again recently where somebody came on and said, listen, this is a really great idea. I have a history of doing that. I did it in the last bull run several times. So please don't FOMO. You will lose out.
Meet Magic Eden, the home of Web3. They are getting into the token trading space in addition to NFTs to become a super dApp where you can do everything cross-chain all in one place. They're solving UX issues by building products across every chain ecosystem, swaps, borrowing and lending, NFT, perps, and more, all seamlessly cross-chain. Instead of hopping between countless sites and handling multiple wallets, just use Magic Eden. Plus, the ME token is coming out this quarter from the ME Foundation. If you've used any of their protocols, you can claim some. So check out.
It is not easy, so don't try and be a genius. Just let the secular bull market rise the value of your wealth. That's what I'm trying to do here. Hi, Raoul here. Listen, I think we've got until 2030 before the economic singularity arrives. Now, it might not be the exact date, but it's around then. So we have about 6 years to figure out how to unfuck our future. I've put together a report to help you called Prepare for 2030. It's going to help you take the first steps in that journey to make sure you're secure past 2030. So just click on the link below and start your journey now. And also, most of us, well, I'm going to talk about another thing. There's talking about the holdings and stuff and how to manage that risk. We talked about no leverage. Now, I've been in the hedge fund industry for 30 years. I know how to use leverage. And at the end of the last, first buy your crypto, store it on an exchange, and then go out and buy something like a ledger device and figure out how to use that. That stores your pass key for your crypto in a safe and secure way so nobody else can get access to it. But again, you need to be really careful where you store your seed phrase that gives access to that. But what it allows you to do is it becomes portable. So if you have to leave a country, have to move around, you can then hide the seed phrase, hide the ledger device, and you're in control of your own assets. That's a really key thing. Having been through the European crisis where they took all your money out of the banks, I think self-custody is incredibly important. You may not think so now, but one day it will be. You know, people lost a lot of money holding it on FTX, for example. Again, that's the reason I like self-custody. Now, for those of you who have more tokens, then you get into a multi-sig world, adoption of technology. And if tomorrow is going to be more digital than today, we will use blockchain rails for proof, for social proof, consensus proof of value, of transferring assets, of holding assets. Everything in a digital world is going to require blockchain rails. It'll be equity markets, bond markets, currency markets. It'll be art. It'll be tickets. It'll be anything, any contract is better on the blockchain because you don't need a trusted third party because the consensus mechanism allows everybody to trust it. So over time, the adoption of Bitcoin is huge. In fact, it's still growing at twice the speed of the internet. Cash, buy it if it's not the end of the cycle. If it is the end of the cycle, then you wait till it goes down 70% or so. And then you pile in as much of your savings as you can on top of your existing holdings and let the magic compound over time. Let me tell you a little bit about that, because I've learned that the hard way. So the mistake there was I bought Bitcoin at $200 back in 2013. Amazing. I then rode it all the way down 85% because I knew it was a long-term bet. It then went back up in 2017 and it was trading about $2,000. And there was some FUD, the forking of Bitcoin into two different Bitcoin blockchains. And I was like, I don't really understand what's going on. And so I sold out. So it was the FUD here. Now, had I listened to myself and bought the big sell-offs and doubled up my position every 4 years when we had the down cycle, I'd have 25x'd my position. And again, you can only do this in the very top tokens, mainly Bitcoin, but maybe Solana, Ethereum. But really in Bitcoin, that's where you can do this very long term, because Bitcoin is much more secure as an asset over time in terms of its adoption and acceptance at large. Then you can diversify out into riskier stuff. But buying the dip would have made me a fortune. The FUD cost me money. Trading cost me money. I didn't do the hold. Another one. If you remember, I bought call options on ETH. I knew I could lose 5% of my capital. Most of you don't trade options, but you trade perps. And perps give you leverage. And before you know it, the market has that 35% pullback that you expect, and you've lost control of your tokens and you're out of the game. Staying in the game is how we get from 3 trillion to 100 trillion. I don't want you to fuck this up. So learn from me. I've fucked up many times in the past, and I don't want you to do it. We will all screw up in some way. We'll get something wrong. Nobody can get this all right. But just adhere to the main principles, and you'll have a much better chance of unfucking your
For DApp, you can do everything cross-chain all in one place. They're solving UX issues by building products across every chain ecosystem, swaps, borrowing and lending, NFT, perps, and more, all seamlessly cross-chain. Instead of hopping between countless sites and handling multiple wallets, just use Magic Eden. Plus, the ME token is coming out this quarter from the ME Foundation. If you've used any of their protocols, you can claim some. So check out Magic